Hi, so my name is Jimton Okeyo. I run a company called Harvester Group Limited, an outside catering outfit based in Nairobi. Been in the industry for over 15 years, so we have quite a wide range of experience when it comes to food. We've been there, so done that when it comes to food. It was, it was birthed from a desire to run a hotel. A day came, a friend of mine who had a stall at City Market in Gumo came and told me, well, there's a space, especially in the food area. Are you interested? So of course I was very interested because I'd been looking for an opportunity to get a place to do food. Went and paid the deposit for the store because I liked the space. It was exactly what I was looking for. Did a little renovation in it and, bought some little furniture and I opened the stall. But when I didn't know the people who rented from me the stall were not like the original owners. They had like taken it away from somebody else. So I opened for one day. A lady came in, asked me, who gave you this stall? I said, these other guys. He said, no, these people had taken this stall from me and now I have the powers to take it back. She came with a big padlock and locked the door. It was the first day I opened. I had made some tea and mandazi. It was in the morning. I was planning to make some lunch. By then, I had one employee. And so she came with a padlock and locked the door and went. And these people went to court to fight. For 6 good months, the place was locked down. And, I went back to the house. And I was there just in the house every day, doing nothing much. As I waited for them, because I had hoped, as soon as they are done with their court case, probably even me, I'll sue and make some money from it because they have interfered with my business. But that didn't work. After about 6 months, one day my wife called me and told me, why don't we ask the landlady where we were living to give us the space, because there were some shops that were there but they were not rented, to give us a space in one of those shops. And so I approached the caretaker of the building. She agreed to give me the space, and that was in the year 2003. So I went back to City Market, talked to the lady who is now owning this shop. I said, well, I've gotten some other place. I want my things. And she agreed. So I took my things out of that building. And, I went to this this new space where we used to live. And I started the cafeteria there. One day, someone approached me and said, could you be able to do outside catering for us? We have some job somewhere. They had some guests. And I said, yes, why not? And so they told me, okay, do for us catering. And I did. It was a small number, like 30 people. And of course, since I was not prepared to do outside catering, I didn't have all the equipment to do catering, even the plates. So I had to, mix and match here and there in order for me to supply that client for 30 people. And so I did, and they were happy. And I said, okay, this is interesting, because I had never thought, even by then I had never thought that I would be doing outside catering work. My interest was to run the hotel. And so a few months down the line, a few weeks down the line, the same client approached me and said, can you do tea and snacks? I said, yes. And again, I did tea and snacks. And a third opportunity came when a friend of mine who we were in school together came from abroad. He wanted to do his wedding. So he asked me if I could cater for him. I said yes. So I catered. So that was the third job. And to be very honest, that is how I started catering business. Events, just like any other business, has a life. You start, and then as you move along, ideas come across, new concepts come across, and you have to, as a businessman, I've had to be very flexible. Flexible in terms of hearing what the clients are demanding and what is the market bringing, what is available, and changing as we move along. So I can say one of the things that I've learned along the way is to be very flexible and to change. There's a saying that says change. If you don't change, change will change you. That basically means by the time change is changing, you might find yourself out of business. So we have had to change a lot over time. Change a lot on how we offer our catering services, on how we supply our catering services, because the things have changed. There's better equipment, there's better training for people. And as a company grows, because there's a specific level where a company starts, say for instance, a catering business, sometimes you may not be able to employ chefs who are very, very qualified, because you can't afford. But as you grow, you find that now, because you have better turnover, you can actually employ people who are very qualified. And, that's a significant change in a company. Because, every company begins like a small baby. You journey and you grow over every other day. So ours has been a growth. It has been a trajectory of improving every other day and changing with the trends that are coming into the industry, listening to our clients, and also us becoming very, very inventive, to do new things, not the normal way we have done them in the past. I discovered my niche in terms of the kind of clientele I want to serve. And one of the things that I learned is that, you can't serve everybody. You can't serve everybody. You can't serve every type of client. So I decided to keep within a certain space. And the space I have been serving in the industry are what I would call upper middle and the upper. That's the clientele I've been serving. Basically, the industry, a big portion of the industry, if you ask me, is composed of the upper middle when it comes to events. People who can afford a certain amount of, like, say, a wedding, they would have a budget of, say, 1 million shillings, or 1 million, or say 800,000, thereabout, when it comes to catering. When it comes to, let me say, from 500,000 to about 800,000. And that, in that case, thinking about maybe a wedding of, say, about 300, 200 people, 500 people. So we are focused on that. We are focused on that segment of the industry where it's not low end, it's up, but it's not the high end. But I still do the high end. That particular industry, I'll do your wedding, and when you're getting married, I'll do your wedding. When you are doing your baby shower, before you get your firstborn, I'll do that. I'll do the birthday for the child. So I'll keep on. I have clients who have did their wedding, have done their baby shower, the child came, we are doing the first birthday, the second birthday, the third birthday. And now you're talking about smaller events, because if you're doing a birthday, maybe it's 30 people, 20 people, it's not a large event. I will still do that. So I will do the large events, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, but I'll also do 10 people. And that's a niche that many people don't do. There are people who just focus on a large event. They don't take small. Me, I take small. In a given day, you'll find I have maybe 2, 3 small events. 10, 20, 30, 40 people, 50 people. And the same day, you find maybe I have some 500, 600 people. Of course, now because of Corona, the numbers are smaller. But pre-Corona, you'd find I have a wedding for 500, 300, 2, 3 weddings in a day. And I also have smaller ones. And that's a niche that I discovered that I still want to serve these small numbers. Now, one of the things that helped me during COVID is those small numbers I'm talking about. Because remember when COVID hit, people were still doing their birthdays, but they are doing it locked in a small house, and they are trying to, not invite many people. And they want a caterer. And they know I'm available, and I do it. I don't shun away from small events. So during COVID, I did very, very small, many small events that kept me running during the pandemic when the lockdown was more serious last year. I wondered, I don't know how long this Corona will go. What will I do with this food? Many people in our industry got caught up in that because it was shut down. But where do I take this food? So what I did is I kind of closed down my company, sent people home, but I took some 2 huge freezers with me to my house. I said, but I have neighbors. People are scared to go to the market. Yeah, I'll advertise and tell them I have goats, I have chicken, I have fish. And when I did that, I realized the market was there. People were actually interested in buying. So I quickly ran to the market. I went in because I realized fish was moving a lot. I have a huge clientele base for fish. I bought 1,000 pieces of fish and, started selling them. And the orders became too many. At some point I realized, because I was the one supplying. So I was there with my kids in the house. We would fry the fish and deliver. If you want the fresh one, we deliver. I deliver myself. Then after about 2 months, I realized, no, I can't hack it. It's too much. The orders are too many. I wake up and, it's like somebody wants chicken, someone wants fish, someone wants, I don't know, some goat meat. Then I decided, no. I started bringing back my staff members one by one, bought some motorbikes because I realized, I was doing the deliveries using my car. An opportunity came across for me to be able to take the food online because I realized many people, of course, now people are ordering through WhatsApp, through SMS, so we took it online. So even the payment system becomes easier. So right now, if you check us online, I registered a different company actually for that purpose. Because the outfit I'm using for outside catering work is called Harvester Group. But the one I'm using for food delivery is called My Good Food Network. And the whole point of My Good Food is the clans. It's like your good food, you're networked with it. You don't have to really wonder, where will I get Kenyeji vegetables? Where will I get omena? I had all manner of food to supply. I discovered people want snacks. So I started doing snacks. You want chapati, 20 pieces. We had to put a minimum. You want chapatis, we say, we'll give you 20 pieces at a particular price. You want samosas. You want spring rolls. You want mandazi. The normal Kenyan snacks that we normally talk about. All that we were able to supply to our clients, and we are still doing that. We realized during the pandemic, most restaurants were closed. And you're in an office, and you want food, where do you go? So you go to My Good Food Network, because we now started supplying people with, you're one person in an office, you want fish with ugali and some vegetable. We can supply that. You want some spring rolls, some snacks supplied to you, one person or 2 people, 5 people. We can be able to. So now we have ready-made food. You order, we make, we supply. And so that business has really grown, and that's how we have survived the pandemic. Having been in the business for a number of years, you will always meet some challenges here and there that come along the way. And we always have to find a way of navigating around them. Of course, Corona is the latest. We are navigating around it. At one point or the other, our office, then the building, some floors caught fire where we were at Kimathi House. And of course, our office got burned, all documents, and all stuff. We meet those kind of challenges. Sometimes you have even employees who leave. You've trained them, they've worked with you, they know the ropes, they know how to do things with you, and at some point maybe they leave, and all those are not easy things to go through. Sometimes we have had to come to places of changing our strategy. Like there's a time I was now doing catering, I'm doing tents, I'm doing deco. One day I realized I will die if I continue doing all this. Let me concentrate on one. So I dropped the tents, I dropped the deco, I said, let me do food. Yeah, and we had to make very significant change and restructure the company, stop doing tents, stop doing deco, and just concentrated on food. Those have been days when it was a huge challenge, because when we do that, we have to sell stuff, release people, I released quite a number of people. There's a time I had, managers, many managers and many supervisors within my establishment doing different things. But when I downsized and I stopped doing many things, I focused on the food. You had to let some people go. And all those are, issues that we go through in business that sometimes, One time, my cafeteria, the one I was talking about, one time, there was a blackout in Nairobi. The entire Nairobi, there was a blackout. There was a problem in some substation, I don't know where, in Kipevu or someplace, and there was a blackout in the afternoon. So, my team in the cafeteria, we were selling, we had this, a fryer. And so the electricity is gone. There was some chips that was actually frying on it. And so, the way you wait for the electricity to come back, it didn't come back. I think at around 7, because we used to close at 9 p.m. At around 7, we told them, go home. Myself, I was not there. And they didn't switch off the fryer. So fire broke out. When the electricity came back, the thing started boiling. And of course, it heated up until it started producing a lot of smoke. and it's in a residential place. These are shops downstairs, upstairs they are residentials. And of course, people are beginning to see smoke in their houses. They are wondering what is happening before they realize, oh, the smoke is coming from the cafeteria. And, you know, so it becomes a huge issue, and there's, you know, firefighting and all manner. The hotel didn't get burned because, you know, the smoke was a lot. By the time people came, you know, it was managed. I mean, just to do one event, I sit down with my team, physically or sometimes online, and we do a lot of planning. In events, no matter what you do, it's about planning. Whether it's decoration, catering, whatever it is, the planning bit is very, very important. And for us, because of what we do, there's a lot of pre-planning that we have to do. Which kind of equipment will go to this client? Which vehicle will carry that? Which team will go there? What type of client are we dealing with? What are the timings? The nitty-gritties of what is involved in an event. So we do that. Then there's the kitchen planning, the production. We talk about many things in terms of what quantity of food are we buying, depending on the number of guests we are anticipating. So there's a lot of planning that happens before the day of the event, a week before, 2 weeks before. Sometimes we even recommend 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we do a site visit. So we see how will the place look like, what is fitting where are guests sitting, where will they wash their hands, where will they serve their food from, the orientation of that ground or the field or the house, how does it look like? And so there's a lot of preparation to do, and of course now just the planning of the procurement, the planning of the serving and who is serving and all that. The first big event I ever did, and I was catering for 3,000 people every day for 5 days at KICC. I was the one doing what? So I'm managing the sound people, I'm managing the decor, the dome, and then these people were having a conference. So they had breakout rooms, which needs more equipment, PA, and then you have cameramen. And then I'm also doing the catering for 3,000 people every day for 5 days. That was huge. Yeah, very demanding. It actually catapulted me very, very well in the industry, and I gained a lot of experience from it. I met a lot of friends, people I still work with today, people who we have journeyed with a lot during that event, because it was huge. It brought in a lot of suppliers, a lot of equipment. We had to collaborate with many, many suppliers in the industry. And so, yeah, my capacity as a service provider was really expanded. From there on, I could I started doing 6 events in one day from that period. Of course, I had been doing many events, but my capacity was really expanded from that one event. And of course, we learned a lot of things supplying that job. So our systems were very, very improved. We could do now things on a better scale. So we learned a lot in terms of planning. Now you can do multiple planning for events in one day. I mean, I plan for events and I'm not stressed. Actually, I can be having 5, 6 events and I'm not even there. And the company is running. Many people do a lot of theory. But I wish the most of the people churning out students can also combine it with practicals that are part of the course. Because it's one thing to do theory, and another thing to come into the industry and meet what is there. What does it take to manage an event, managing a caterer who you don't even know where they're cooking from, managing a supplier who switches off their phone, yeah, managing traffic jams, managing fights that can erupt in a wedding. Some of those, that you rarely meet, but they are there. Service providers who promise this and they don't bring it. So those issues, sometimes I think part of the course should entail the students coming to practically be, as part of the course, be with maybe a caterer for a week or on a weekend, on a particular day. And then they be with a decorator. Not only on the day of the event, before the event. Where do they get the flowers from? What happens when it's normally when it's a cold season, we are told flowers don't blossom and there's scarcity. The international market, they are demanding the flowers. So you find a bride wanted a particular color, it's now not available. What do you do? The practicals. Because as an event planner, if you come into the industry and you find somebody, you wanted a particular flower and now it's not available, you're mad with the supplier. You need to know what happens behind the scenes. Where do the flowers come from? A visit to a flower farm to know the stories about the flowers that we use in the wedding is also very key. And so what do photographers go through? What do cake bakers do to get the cake done and be brought on the day without it collapsing or without the cake going bad or all manner of things that happen with any kind of industry? What do photographers do when they go, after the event, they go and to the studios to look at the photos and you don't like what you've taken? Or the client is demanding some photos that you didn't take, or they didn't come out well. What do you do? And so those practicalities are very, very important. And also, just being very detailed. I see people lacking detail. We've seen some of those reality shows where these guys are taken to the streets to go and sell maybe oranges. Because there's a skill that they learn by knowing, this is what you go through when you're trying to sell a product. Because you're going to sit in some high-end office managing a client. But what happens to the end product? Where does it go? What are the challenges on the ground? And so that now people don't come just having a big picture, having the desires that are huge. What are the small issues that people face in the industry? What are the challenges? And the details, having an eye for details, because a lot of event planners don't have eyes for details. I mean, I meet very good planners, but there are those planners who you can see they don't have eyes for details. Yeah. And so that lacks. I think the training should be, sometimes because I also train people. When a table has been skirted, and maybe a skirting started here and ended there, and another one started, but then this one is slightly higher than this one on the bottom. Yeah, this one is here, and the other one there's a slight difference. Some people don't have an eye for that because they should be the same. The color scheme, if it's off-white, they're all the same color, because sometimes you find this one has faded and this one is, they should be the same. Those are things we call details that many people are not able to see. So my wish is that planners can have eye for details. My family keeps me motivated. When you have a family, you have a wife, you have children, it becomes one of the places you feel excited, especially when you see where you've started and how God is developing you and how your family is growing and how you and your children and your wife, my family is my motivation. First thing I would say is my motivation. Of course, God is first, because I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. So God is first. I put God first in everything that I do. And I mean, it's a priority. I don't compare God to anything else. And of course, then my family comes in. And those two issues motivate me, and generally to be able to do that which God has ordained me to become.